This is the Morning Tailgate.
Deuce! Goodbye! Into the end zone! 60 yards! Touchdown Raiders!
With Vince Sapienza, Vinny Bonsignore, and Clay Baker.
It's the trifecta for Bowers! His third touchdown of the game! And the Raiders with a chance to win it!
On Raider Nation Radio 920.
Fire up the cue! Grab a beverage or two and settle in. This is the Morning Tailgate on Raider Nation Radio 920, the flagship for the Silver and Black. Vince Sapienza, Vinny Bonsignore, coming to you live from Las Vegas, July 2nd, a Thursday in 2026. We are 4 weeks today from rookies reporting. 4 weeks today.
We're going to do this every day, Vince.
Well, I'm gonna be off, so you're not gonna hear it for a while. So I'm giving you my final countdown. Yeah, we are actually. When we are the flagship of the Silver and Black, we got to give countdown. Vinny.
Okay, so just to be clear, July 28th is the report for everybody, and what is it? July 24th is it for the rookies?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So let's just make that clear to everybody. We are in the month that training camp is starting. July 28th is going to be the day in Henderson, Nevada. The train leaves the train, what is it, the train stop, the train station on July 28th. Yes, the rookies get in there. Fernando Mendoza, who, by the way, isn't signed yet. We should probably get into maybe the reasons why, Vince, because that's not happened yet. There's two players that haven't signed their contracts of first-round picks in the NFL, and they're both quarterbacks, and there's reasons for that. We can get into that and give a little explainer on why it's not necessarily to be worried about. There's some and the money is nailed down right to the penny. That's the crazy thing, Vince. The money is there. You can't make a penny more or a penny less if you're either Fernando Mendoza or Ty Simpson from the Rams. It's not about that at all, and we can get into that at some point today.
And again, this is why we do it, because Connor's got to keep me honest. I'm all discombobulated. We're 3 weeks away from the Raiders rookies reporting. July 23rd is when they report. So
we are now in July.
Today.
Yes.
I've been so excited to sit there and say, Connor, we're in the month of training camp that I've lost track of the days. This is why I do it. You know what? It's more so for me than anybody else. And maybe there's some people like me in Raider Nation Radio or Raider Nation that just need that. And that's what we're here for. Way to pick me up, Connor, here. Way to pick me up on a Thursday.
You know, Vinny, just to peel the curtain back a little bit for the listeners, Vince is going to be going on vacation, so it's kind of like, the closer he can get there, it's like, let's get out of here.
That's more what this is all about.
Because when he comes back, then the ground, or the wheels hit the ground, I get to say. So, it's going to be fun.
Also,
it's going to be a quick
he should,
but when we come back,
he should tweet out the picture. We're rolling. Yeah, he should tweet out the picture of the wall inside the studio where he's got the days counted down, like he's getting ready to leave
X's.
jail.
I'm marking the X's.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm chiseling it away. No, if you want full, Connor just threw me into a tizzy before we even got on, bringing back up the red card that shouldn't have been last night.
Yeah, that was a bad idea by me. I could tell right away it got you set off. But to be fair, it set off almost 95% of America as well.
I mean, which was, if I'm being completely honest, that warmed my heart so much. I don't care. Look, I'm going to be a fan of soccer. I understand that after this World Cup, a good majority will not be talking about it and not be focused on it, and that's fine. That's totally okay. That doesn't bother me. I know it bothers some, not me. I love the fact that my rage and fury was matched by just about everybody in this country being like, what are we even doing?
Nothing like hate to bring everyone together, right?
But hey, resiliency, Vinny, was the key word of the night. 30 minutes of defending down a man, and not only did they do it, they scored another goal, an unbelievable free kick. And I got to tell you, as somebody who follows this team closely, I can't remember the last time I saw a free kick from a U.S. men's national team in a tournament or a competition like that where it mattered. It was beautiful. This team's got the good stuff. I have no idea what Monday's going to hold with Belgium. This team's got the good stuff, and it has been a fun ride so far. So that was cool. So that was really what got me discombobulated at the start. It's all Connor's fault. Remember, Connor, Vinny, and I, we don't take accountability on this show. So,
hey, leave me out of that, man. I did watch the match. I'm not going to call it a game because it's not a game. People tell me it's not a game, it's a match. So okay, it's a match. I'm not gonna. It is kind of interesting listening to. I'll tell you what, man. The soccer broadcasters and announcers,
unbelievable.
A little too eloquent for my taste with their descriptions and stuff like that. Like the words that they use, it's like they never want to be offensive or anything like that. It's so like, come on, man, just let loose. We don't need all the pretty, cute little expressions and everything like that. And here, yeah. So I'm not going to get into that.
Real quick. That's a fun take that I've never heard. That the soccer broadcasters are too eloquent. I like that, Vinny. I like that take of yours.
Oh, the irony. It's like their defense has been ironic today, or it's like, what are we talking about?
I will feel like you have to listen to a lot of the Telemundo calls for this, just because if you're not listening to the Spanish calls when you're watching this, it feels the energy is completely different. I don't understand a lick of Spanish, but I'm still listening just because I can feel the energy in those calls.
Yeah, no doubt.
Vinny, you're telling me you don't like it when they describe the offensive attack as a beautiful symphony, serenading
things like that,
the crowd?
And full disclosure, I started being aware of this like when my kids were little. They played Xbox. They still do, of course, but that hasn't changed. But I can remember times where like my son Noah and my daughter Jasmine were playing FIFA together, playing against each other or whatever, or against fellow people out there. And this is like going back 10 years ago when they were really much, much younger. And I'd be working. A lot of times as a journalist, Vince, we work from home. We write from home. We do stuff from home, right?
Yep.
Don't necessarily, well, at least for me, don't necessarily always have to go to an office or anything like that. And sometimes it's just you're working from home. So I'm working, but I'm also hearing. And Noah loves FIFA. He loves playing FIFA, and that's how he became a huge soccer fan. And they have obviously the announcers, just like in NBA and Madden. You've got your commentators, and I would be picking up on some of the things that they were saying, and I would just laugh to myself, like it's an interesting way of saying, that guy just got blasted or something like that. It was, the words and their expressions. It's just decidedly different than other sports.
It was
brilliant.
Too eloquent, he says. Too eloquent. They're really good with their words. Their linguistics. All right. Well, that was fun last night.
I'm going to tell you, off air, Vince, I'm going to tell you, and maybe we could decide whether or not
it's appropriate.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was, and the guy, his name is Scott French. I'm never going to forget it. And Scott is, I don't know if you know Scott French.
I know Scott.
Okay.
So let's okay, go ahead.
I'm just going to set it up first. Then you and I are going to decide off air whether or not this is appropriate or not. Okay. But it was the World Cup in Germany. This was a few years ago, right?
I was there.
You were there. There you go. So Scott is in. He's there for the Los Angeles Daily News, right? He's in Germany, and it was this time of year, obviously. So at that particular time, there wasn't really any. The NBA season was over. The NHL season was over. Football hadn't even started. So in the spirit of finding things for the writers to do, we would all have to work a couple of desk shifts at night. Desk shifts in the newspaper is you're reading copy and you're setting things up for the paper the next morning, right? We're always the last in the office because it's always the last. The sports is the last thing. You have your games that are at night or whatever the case is. So, and part of my job was proofreading Scott's copy from Germany, right? The story that he would write. I'm laughing here. All right, so Scott, Scott because he's a soccer dude, right?
Yeah.
There's no question about that. So when I say that there's a certain language to soccer from the commentators, there's a certain language to soccer coverage too, writing wise. Same with golf. Like golf has its own little thing going.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I used to love reading golf copy because it was a new world to me, and so was soccer, obviously. And so I caught something that he wrote, and I still to this day can't remember if we let it go into the paper or not. I think we did, but it became what he wrote, how he was describing something about a certain player. We would keep at the LA Daily News. We would keep a long list of things like this that just were so kind of over the line, but not necessarily over the line. But we would save them, and every once in a while, when we needed a good laugh, we would go through our list of things that were written or said or whatever. And this one was always cause for massive belly laughs. And so I will tell you what that was off air, and let's decide.
And we'll see if
whether
it's
or not
appropriate. All right.
Yes. You're going to love it.
It's crazy because I do know Scott. That's wild. All right. So we talked about we got our Summer of Fun. South Dakota is the Summer of Fun trip, which has led us to have a Mount Rushmore frame of mind this week. We've done it for a few things today. And this is where we need Raider Nation in a big way, because Vinny, we've teased this, that we would do this as a topic, do this as a conversation for months. We might have even talked about it last year, saying, hey, we should get to this just to see what Raider Nation says, because there's a lot of different eras. There's a lot of young members of Raider Nation. You know what it is. Just your Mount Rushmore, all-time Raiders. That's it.
All right.
There's no other Mount Rushmore Raiders. Anyone in the organization.
Can we?
You want a caveat?
I do want a caveat.
All right. What do you want?
Only because when it comes to certain organizations, certain franchises that have been around a long time, it's hard. It's hard to knock somebody off. Like when you think about the Yankees or the Lakers or the Raiders, quite honestly, it's invariably, just because of the numbers, a part of it, somebody gets kicked off that should be on there, quite honestly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, here's my caveat. Al Davis needs to be, I want two. One offense, one defense, with the ultimate caveat that Al needs to be on both of them, because he was basically the orchestrator of all that. So you have Al plus 3 offensive players, and then Al plus 3 defensive players.
Wow, okay. That's fine. I'm good with that. I don't know if our listeners are going to give us that many. Maybe they will. I don't know.
And that's the other part of it, that there's coaches too, so, oh, man.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And so which section goes into where?
I hope Raider 66 is listening. This is going to be a big day for
Of course.
This is Raider 66's
right up his
day.
alley.
He almost has to be the first. I don't know what his work schedule is today, but it almost feels like everyone's going to wait to see what Raider 66 says and then build theirs off his. Maybe. I don't know.
Terrible day for me not to have access to our text line.
What happened?
I'm still the new guy here, man. They're not giving me the login.
There's sabotage. There's
gotcha,
some
gotcha.
hazing going on,
Some
apparently.
hazing going on here, Vinny.
He has
Gotcha.
access to the giveaways, but not the text line. Weird. What's going on
Hey,
here?
did you catch this, by the way? We saw yesterday that, speaking about texts and social media and all that kind of stuff, we saw yesterday that the Celtics completed that trade, right? Jaylen Brown going to the Sixers, which is crazy that you would trade in your own division.
Right.
But I guess there's this radio dude in the New England area. Maybe he's known for stirring things up. So he sends out a tweet today that says, I guess he's been scouring Jalen or Tatum's social media. Yeah, and he puts out this. It's telling that Jason Tatum hasn't made one comment yet on social media about the trade of, basically trying to say that obviously he doesn't care, and it's like, are we really? I mean, are we now at the stage where we have to, where we expect these athletes to pour their hearts and soul out for everybody to see? The trade doesn't even become official until July 6th, and we saw what a trade looked like. That was a trade and it wasn't a trade, right, guys? as before it became official and all the outpouring, including from Max himself, before it all became official, and then everyone had to go home with their tails between the legs, and boy, glad that didn't. Whatever the case was, but are we really at the point, Vince, where now there's an expectation that a teammate has to come out and lay his heart on the soul about his former teammate, or something was obviously going on, Vince. Obviously, they didn't like each other. Where are we? Is this are we back in middle school here right now, where we have to see? I need to read the note when you broke up with your girl. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing here, Vince? Come on.
Unfortunately, social media is basically middle school. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean that's kind of.
But do we never?
That's the passing of notes in class, being like, "Hey, tell this person that I like this person," or whatever. That is what this has become. With as much access and as much reach as just about anybody has to these athletes in terms of what they do, in terms of their social media footprint, things they do are covered just as much as things that they don't do. And in particular cases like this, that when something big happens, your first reaction is finding the reaction of the next guy or the closest person to that.
Or I'm going to read something into it and then go out and do a whole show about it, about how Jason Tatum, hasn't expressed his undying love for Jaylen Brown. Number one, maybe he called him. Number two, maybe he wants to absorb everything before going out on social media. Number three, I mean, I consider myself somebody that frequents social media quite often, like we both do, right? Mm-hmm. I honestly don't even remember, and I think I do follow Jason Tatum. I don't think I ever remember seeing anything of significance that he's ever put on social media, which leads me to believe that he's probably not the biggest social media dude out there. There's people out there that don't partake necessarily, Vince. That's another thing to keep in mind. But this constant, being 5 steps removed from it and reading something into it to the point where you have to go on air and say, obviously, there's something to keep an eye on about that. I think it's just so childish, man. I'm sorry, but it rubbed me the wrong way.
You don't have to apologize whatsoever. Yeah. You didn't do anything wrong. It is irritating. Unfortunately, in the world of hot takes, which has become sports talk, sports radio, even it's not even just radio. It's broadcast TV. It is the world of hot takes. Look no further than Stephen A. Smith yesterday, talking NBA and the Lakers.
Gosh!
It's a world of hot takes, and when you have to reach, you reach, and the way you keep jobs, apparently, seemingly, is by reaching. But we can get more into that stuff a little bit later. Let's kind of lean into the topic at hand. 702-365-9200. Mount Rushmore, Raiders of all time. One offense, one defense. One offense, one defense. Raider Nation, this is your day. This is your time to shine. Give your hot takes, if you will, with the silver and black on who should be on the Mount Rushmores of all-time Raiders. 702-365-9200. Need to hear from you. Got to hear from you. Light up the phone. Start texting in your picks. But before we get there, Vinny, you brought up we are 3 weeks away, or Connor reminded me we're 3 weeks away from Raiders rookies reporting. Very important. Fernando Mendoza expected to be one of those rookies, but as you point out and mention, he is one of 2 current Raiders draft picks without a contract.
Yeah, and the other one is Jermod McCoy, and there's obvious, I think we talked about Jermod. He's probably looking to get that whole thing guaranteed. That is not normally the case. When you sign your contract as a non-first round pick. So I'm sure they'll get things, rectified. And from his perspective, he should have been a first round pick, but the injury concerns pushed him down in the 4th round. I'm sure he's trying to get every penny. Now the actual money isn't necessarily the case. Like I said, everything is slot applauded, but him getting the entire thing guaranteed, like all 4 years guaranteed, that's I would assume that's kind of the issue. And in Fernando's case, his and I'd have to look it up. Vince, maybe you could look it up exactly what to the penny what he's ultimately going to make in the first 4 years of his contract. Remember, the fifth year is not guaranteed. That becomes a decision when you're a first-round pick. That you sign a standard 4-year contract, and it's all predicated, including the signing bonus and every penny that's guaranteed. It's predetermined based on where you're picked, first pick, second pick, third pick, on and on and on and on and on. So your first 4 years are fully guaranteed, and your signing bonus is fully guaranteed. I don't have his Fernando's exact numbers off the top of my head.
It should be $54 million, $54.6 million.
All of which is guaranteed, and that includes the signing bonus, which is what, in the 20s? Anyway, the Raiders have always preferred to pay out the signing bonus in segments. It's like, I think, 3 different payments. He gets every penny of it, but it gets paid in 3 different segments. That's how the Raiders and other teams have traditionally done it. But some players now want the signing bonus paid in full at the day of signing. So from what I understand, that's the issue right now. So it's not a matter of money. It's not a matter of years. He gets his guaranteed 4 years. We'll see what happens with that 5th-year option if it even gets to that. Hopefully, he plays so well that they just extend him after.
It becomes contract 2.
Yeah, exactly. And so the 5th-year option becomes moot. So don't figure the 5th year into it just yet. That'll become a situation later on down the road. But that's what it is. It's not the actual money. He gets every penny that he has coming to him. But it sounds like what he wants is to have that signing bonus paid up front in full on the day of signing.
702-365-9200. Mount Rushmore, Raiders. We want to hear from you next, but first.
Hey guys, since 1942, Sal's Mexican restaurants have been serving the best Mexican food in California's Central Valley. From their award-winning salsas to all their classics like chili carne and chili verde, they have been go-to restaurants for multiple generations. And here's the great thing. You don't even have to be in California to enjoy this great food. All you got to do is go to salsmexicanrestaurant.com. That's salsmexicanrestaurant.com. And they will hook you up. You go online, you put your order in, whatever it is, wherever it is, it'll get delivered to you in your next party, your next family get-together, maybe your next 4th of July celebration is completely hooked up with the best Mexican food you're ever going to taste. If you do live in the Central Valley or maybe you're passing through, please make sure to stop by their locations in Selma, Fresno, or Madera. And when you do, ask for Sal, Carl, or any of their managers and let them know that the Morning Tailgate and Raider Nation Radio sent you. Or again, just go to salsmexicanrestaurant.com.
Vince, Vinny, and Clay want to hear from you. Call or text the show at 702-365-9200. Now, back to the Morning Tailgate.
Welcome back inside the tailgate. Connor and I just bickering back and forth. You left him off your Mount Rushmore? If you haven't seen, Allegiant Stadium is littered with Hall of Famers. it's like a mini Hall of Fame on the concourse at Allegiant Stadium near the torch. And it's an impossible task. Like I think we, all three of us, fully recognize what we are asking to Raider Nation this morning on a Thursday ahead of the 4th of July is an impossible task. Not too dissimilar to what the U.S. men's national team went through yesterday, down 10 men for 30 minutes. Nearly impossible task. But they did it. And they came out better on the other side. And that's what we plan to do, coming out better than we did on the other side. 702-365-9200. All right, Vinny, Mount Rushmore. So the caveat is two mountains, one offense, one defense. Al Davis on both.
I got to think about this, man, because now
you want a
honestly,
third? A third mountain?
Tough. No. Yeah, I don't know, because there's also coaches,
What do you do? Where do you put them?
Yeah, how could you not put John Madden up there?
It's literally what we were just talking about. What do you do?
You could do like your Mount Rushmore and have Al Davis lookout point, and I don't know, make a little park out of it. Give John Madden the John Madden parking lot.
What if we make it the Al Davis Mountain Range?
So how about what we could do is it'll be the naming rights will go to Al. So it's the Al Davis.
It's
Mount
Davis,
Davis. There we
Rushmore.
go, Mount Davis.
It's Mount Davis.
There you go. So it's Mount right. It'll be the Al Davis Mount Al Davis Field at John Madden Field or something like that. You know how they do that?
Yeah,
now?
yeah. John Madden lookout point. Or
brought to you by John Madden or something like that.
Brought to you by Tough Actin' Tinactin. Wasn't that his? Boom.
Yeah. And many others actually.
Yeah.
So.
So would you like to go first on your first run through or?
Well, yeah, and if we're just doing one,
let's just do one. Again, we know people are going to be left off, and this is not a concrete. This is not in stone as it will be on Mount Davis at the peak of John Madden. But here we go. Let her rip, Vinny. Intelligently aggressive. Let it rip.
All right.
You don't have to mention Al because it is Al Davis Mountain Range. So Al is there. It is unless you want Al there.
Well, I'm going to make it the Al Davis Mount Rushmore. So that's that.
So that happened.
Right. So he's there. He's on there. He's got the naming rights, right? So this is named after Al Davis, Mount Davis, basically. So I'm going to go with. All right, I'm just going to do it. Tim Brown, Gene Upshaw, Kenny Stabler, and Marcus Allen.
Wow. Okay. I like it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Can you repeat those again? I want to make sure I have these.
Marcus Allen.
Yep.
Kenny Stabler.
Yep.
Gene Upshaw. Hang on a second. No, I'm not. I'm taking Tim Brown down. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Golden Domer. Unbelievable.
Kenny Stabler. Gosh, I can't.
So while you do that real quick, I'm just going to tell
Howie Long. That's what it was. Howie Long.
So you're putting Howie. Okay, so just very quickly, as I'm. So yesterday is obviously day one of NHL free agency. So I'm at the rink, waiting for news to drop. Keeping my ear to the concrete, as it were, inside or the ice in that particular case. The U.S. soccer game is going on. I'm doing homework on the Raiders, all while the NBA has the trade of Jaylen Brown happening. My mind, sort of short-circuited in terms of the sports things that I was trying to keep my head on a swivel on. Very difficult. Very difficult. But, hey, somebody's got to do it. The burden of the job. So, Howie, Gene, Stabler,
and Marcus
Allen are your four.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a strong four. Connor, would you like to go next? Or you want me to go next?
I can go next.
Okay, do it.
Mine
Live your life.
Mine was pretty similar to Vinny's. I did go with a different offensive lineman. As much as I like Gene Upshaw, I went with Jim Otto. Mr. Raider there, the longtime franchise center, started every game. So I'll go with Jim Otto as your offensive lineman. I did put Marcus Allen. I had Ken Stabler. I think it says, it goes for something being the first quarterback to win a Super Bowl with the franchise. Plus, he was iconic. This was a guy who was polarizing on and off the field. I did not put Howie Long. I did struggle with having Howie Long on my list there. In fact, I don't think I have a single defensive player on there because my last one was Tim Brown. I went with the all-time reception leader for the Raiders. So,
Mr. Raider.
Yeah, I'm going with Jim Otto, Marcus Allen, Ken Stabler, and Tim Brown. My honorable mention, I did want to go with Howie Long. I ended up not doing it. The other one was Charles Woodson. So 2 defensive players I was close on, but they didn't make the list.
Okay, so that's a strong list. I mean, it's hard to argue against any of them, but it's also, why aren't you adding the 10 other players that should be? So this is the conversation we're having. Now, before Vinny provided the caveats, mine was what I had initially written down was Al Davis, John Madden, Jim Otto, Marcus Allen. That was what I initially did. But now we are taking away Al Davis and John Madden because they are just there.
They're
correct?
the park.
Right. Like, oh, the park. It's Mount Davis in John Madden Park?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. So we're going to remove those, right, Vinny? Make sure we're on the same page
They've
here.
gotten the naming rights. Already sponsored and everything. They're good to go.
It's hard for me to not put Jim Otto on there. Is the original Raider, right? Like 12-time All-Star, 10-time first-team All-Pro, one of, if not the greatest center in all football history, defined the franchise, right, in terms of his play. I'm not going to pretend like I was alive to see it, but as somebody who's been in this chair for a number of years, covered this team for almost a decade at this point, I've had to do my due diligence, my history, and I understand the reverence and the impact. So in terms of we're doing this exercise, it feels impossible for me to not put Jim Otto up there. Marcus Allen feels like, in terms of not only numbers, accolades, but iconic moments, is the other reason why he was part of that list for me. And then as I'm going through this, because I did have a couple honorable mentions, but Vinny, my honorable mentions just kept moving around, right? Like kept, well, he should be in front. Well, no, that person should be. So, again, I'm just going to do it just like you, just on the fly. I did have Tim Brown, Mr. Raider, up there. Maybe that's more because I saw him growing up and understood what that was like and the early success of what the Raiders were, with at least with him. And then my 4, oh boy. So who did I get? Otto, Allen, Brown. It's hard to not put a quarterback, especially Stabler. Is that my final answer? It's my final answer for hour number 1. Subject to change in hour number 2. But let's do that. Otto, Otto, Allen, because Howie Long was. So I'm on TV. He talked about the Raiders all the time. And then you do the history, and you're like, that was also the symbol of the Raiders. But in a world, in today, where I've grown up, where quarterback is everything, how do you not put a quarterback on a Mount Rushmore, especially back in that time when what he did was so great?
Connor, doesn't it sound like Vince is talking to himself right now? He's
this is one of those where you're just trying to think it out loud, and he's working it through. And the best part is you and I.
That's what we're supposed to do. We're on radio, but it just sounds like you're having that conversation simply with yourself.
Are you guys here? Are you guys mics on?
Right. He wasn't even responding when I was pointing out. He was still in his own head. Which is what this exercise makes you do.
I was going to say, I'm sitting here and I can see the wheels turning for Vince. He's working through it.
Same here.
Yeah. So, final answer, hour number 1.
It's the Alonzo Mourning effect. You remember, the meme that he has where he's sitting on the bench and and I still to this day think he's thinking about what he's getting for dinner later on.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, because trust me, those guys, they're human beings too.
I just had Italian.
Yeah, is it Italian or Mexican tonight? How? Steak. That's when the steak hit. He's like,
steak again? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I could do. Yeah. So okay, final answer: Otto, Allen, Tim Brown, Stabler.
There you go.
That's final answer. Hour number 1. Who knows how I'm going to feel in hour number 2?
You need a caller to change your mind or something. Someone's got to come in and sway you. That's what you need. You're waiting for a political argument. Not political, but you need a persuasive argument.
I can be swayed, especially.
Oh, Vince can be swayed.
I can be swayed. That is not a problem here.
You need in negotiations. You need to honestly handcuff Vince because he's going to sign the first thing somebody puts out there. So
you know what's
handcuff.
funny? I've done all my negotiations too, and I feel like I've done it. But in this in this realm, like I can be swayed in just about anything.
That's because we all go into those negotiations just worried that we're going to get fired. So
That's true.
Say that we still want you back. Okay, let's do this, right?
But I'm gonna look mad doing it. That way, I'm serious.
This is a true story. A buddy of ours got drafted. He had a football scholarship to Northwestern. He was a running back at Ventura High School. He had a football scholarship to Northwestern. And he was a really good baseball player who gets drafted in the second round, which is a premium round, by the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? Mm-hmm. So we had a buddy who was a lawyer in town. He was like a few years ahead of us, and he became the lawyer. He was the guy that everybody went to, right, for advice. This is like a totally different time than now. Like he would have a financial, somebody that was like really tied in to that world representing him, but instead it was our buddy who was a lawyer. And so one day, this was before he goes into the negotiations with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we see him, and he's got this mirror in his living room, and he's looking at himself in the mirror, and we're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm practicing the face that I'm going to give the Pirates when they give me the first offer." Like he was literally like, "No, that's not it." So fast forward 2 weeks later. Our friend signs his contract. It was in the $500,000 range, so he made some money. And we were all sitting down, and we were talking to our buddy, the lawyer. So how many faces did you go through? Like, as the negotiations went on, he goes, "To be honest, no." They said this is what. Okay, yeah, let's sign it. So all that practice went for naught. He was like literally studying himself in the mirror, like, gonna have to do a little more than that, So
I never thought to study in the mirror. I might have to do that too next time.
You might have to do that rather than just getting up and running over there and hugging the guy.
Hooray!
Right when the first
bring the balloons. 702-365-9200. Your Mount Rushmore of the Raiders. We want to hear him next here on the Tailgate.
We'll take your comments and questions on X. Follow us at RNR920AM. Let's dig in to the morning tailgate on Raider Nation Radio 920.
Welcome back inside the tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. 702-365-9200 is the number. Trying to get your Mount Rushmore. Old-time Raiders. It's Mount Davis, though. So you don't have to include Al Davis because it's his mountain range. And it's John Madden's park is what we've decided because you can't leave them off. So the exercise is now, besides them, who do you want sculpted on the mountain? 702-365-9200. Out to the phones we go. Kicking us off here on a Thursday. Waking Raider Nation up on a topic of topics is PDX Raider. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, let's go.
Let's go. Bring it, PDX. Bring it.
Yeah. Hey, so I'm gonna qualify this with a couple of things.
No.
No. This is all legit. I've been a Raider fan since '74.
Okay.
And my Hall of Fame is based on two things: guys that I saw play, and I'm going to use kind of an Al Davis thing, like biggest players in the biggest games.
Okay.
Right. So my Rushmore is the Snake. Okay, this one's going to be, I got two controversial ones. Okay. Dave Casper.
Okay.
Marcus Allen. And Cliff Branch. Because
Who'd
when you look
wait.
at
Gabe who?
Cliff. Okay, so Stabler, Casper.
Oh,
Marcus
okay, Dave
Allen,
Casper. Gotcha.
Cliff Branch. Because if you look at our history I'd put Timmy Brown in there. Timmy Brown played in maybe 2 playoff games. Great player, don't get me wrong. This is why this is so hard.
Yeah.
But if you look at the 4 guys I just named, multiple playoff games, multiple Super Bowls, and within those Super Bowls, these are guys that made big plays in those Super Bowls to get us our championships. So that's what I'm basing my Mount Rushmore on. We've got littered, obviously, great players. You can't really go wrong, but that's the PDX Raider Mount Rushmore.
Mount Davis. PDX Raiders Mount Davis.
Yeah, you got to add me to the park.
In John Madden National Park.
Hey, yeah, no, I'm the. You can name the restroom after me. the Al Davis, Mount Al Davis in John Madden Park with the PDX Raider restroom, memorial restroom.
We'll definitely take it under consideration, PDX. We appreciate the call. Thanks so much. And Vinny, that's great stuff. Vinny, it's interesting because, there's arguments to be made for so many guys as we're discussing, but qualifying it that way in terms, it's hard to argue any of the names he just picked in terms of big names, big time moments, and impact on the Raiders.
Yeah, for sure. I love that list, and as we keep saying, this is going to be difficult because legends have been made with the silver and black. There's no question, and invariably. There's going to be multiple worthy players that are left off. So, but that's why Mount Rushmore is it's such a difficult exercise because there's very limited space up on that mountain. So you have to make it work and do so with the understanding that you're going to leave somebody that's worthy of being up there, not on there.
I guess Dave Casper of his 4 would be the.
I thought you said Gabe Kapler. That's what I heard in my. I was like, Gabe Kapler.
Isn't that a telescope? Kepler?
No, he was the former baseball manager for the San Francisco Giants. And,
I know. There's a Kepler telescope, though.
Oh, Kepler. Well,
yeah, Kepler.
That's not Kapler.
Yeah, I know. 378 catches, 5,216 yards, 52 touchdowns, 5 Pro Bowls. And a 2002 Pro Football Hall of Fame induction after 11 seasons. That's Dave Casper.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Tim Brown. He wasn't on mine, although
he was for a moment, and then he was
worthy. Yeah, exactly.
Taken off.
And here's the thing: it's you can't when it comes to a great wide receiver like Tim Brown. He only played in a couple playoff games, none of which was his fault. All right, they didn't have the right quarterback. They didn't have a lot of things during his time there. But he put up some spectacular numbers. He's obviously in the Hall of Fame, so I can't hold that against him. Like if that's going to be the criteria, you could say the same thing about Charles Woodson, right? They didn't. I think they went to. Did they go to? Was he on the team that won the Super Bowl or went to the Super Bowl? I have to go back and check. But then he left for the Green Bay Packers, and it's not his fault. One player's fault that the team itself wasn't very good while they were there, or good enough to win a Super Bowl or go to the playoffs.
Yeah, he was on the team that went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that went to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, and then went to Green Bay, got the Lombardi, came back.
Right, and won there.
Yeah. 702-365-9200. We're going to continue to get your thoughts, your calls in hour number 2. The voice of the Raiders, Jason Horowitz, set to join us at the top of hour number 2. But first, we did congregate off air. And I think it's okay to share what our mutual friend Scott French wrote while in Germany during the World Cup. Vinny had to check, basically, while he was in L.A. And what was that script?
Well, we still to this day think that Scott was either working off of a couple of Pilsners or maybe a couple glasses of wine. But he eloquently described...
Too eloquently, apparently.
Yeah, too eloquently. A European player who had slippery balls skills.
Slippery... I don't think it was balls plural. I think it was slippery ball skills.
Yeah.
Is what it should have been.
Right.
He was tough to catch with the ball. He had the ball on a string. He was slippery.
slippery balls skills. Just say that 5 times.
No, I'm not going to say that. Not going to say that. You can. Hour number 2, Jason Horowitz, voice of the Raiders, next here on the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920.
This is the Morning Tailgate.
There have been plenty of other coaches, but why not us? Why not this staff? Why not this group of players? I look at it as what a great challenge. We're going to be about the work.
He is back, baby! And the Raiders regain the lead!
With Vince Sapienza, Vinny Bonsignor, and Clay Baker on Raider Nation Radio 920.
Flying through into hour number 2 here on the Morning Tailgate. It's Raider Nation Radio 920. Vince Sapienza, Vinny Bonsignor coming live from Las Vegas on a Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. And we are asking the impossible. Your Mount Rushmore of all-time Raiders. Now, the caveat and the qualifier that we have given, because it's just too damn difficult, is it is no longer Mount Rushmore, it is Mount Davis. So you don't have to include the Maverick because it's his mountain range. And we even went as far as to say it's John Madden's National Park. So those two they're set. Trying to make it a little easier here on a Thursday. Don't want any infighting within Raider Nation. 702-365-9200 is the number. We'll continue to get back to your calls, your texts, but joining us now is the voice of the Raiders, friend of the show. Haven't talked to Jason Horowitz in a minute. What's up, Jace? Where you been?
So,
what are you doing?
Having done talk radio for a very long time, I immediately recognize we are deep in the heart of summer radio programming. And I can tell you that if you guys would like, you are more than welcome to come over to the Horowitz basement and clean it out with me while you're doing summer talk radio. I got toys, I got puzzles. I just found Power Rangers that have been stuck in somewhere forever. Yeah.
Are we talking like original Power Rangers, or are we talking that dumb jungle Power Rangers, Ninja Power Rangers, Space Power Ranger?
I think the kids got these from our next door neighbors, whose their children are in their like 30s. So I'm going to assume these are like original Power Rangers.
Yeah, I want those.
Yeah, this is Horowitz's summer, along with the Mount Davis of Madden National Park.
Real quick, speaking of Power Rangers, I was trained by the Green Ranger that turned into the White Ranger, Tommy.
Wait, I don't know. What does that mean? You were trained by Tommy. What does that mean?
I did karate as a kid, and he was my sensei, if you will.
No way.
I won.
That's fun.
I won a tournament because I kicked the kid in the nether region, and
by default,
he couldn't continue. I got a medal out of it. He was my teacher. No big deal.
I find that hard to believe that was accidental, number one.
Hey, that's also what I was going to say. And then the other thing I was going to say, shouldn't you have been disqualified?
Yes.
Wouldn't that have made you disqualified?
It was an inside kick that might have gone up too high.
I watched Karate Kid. I know when Sensei said sweep the leg that he was going to get disqualified, and he knew it. So I'm pretty sure you were on the mat saying, Johnny, no!
I'm just telling you right now, I got a medal somewhere. It says first place. Yeah. And the only thing I remember from that deal was what I did, which was definitely illegal.
Yeah.
Don't know why it was allowed, but I didn't question it. You just move on. You take your dubs and you move on.
My question to Jason is, we are, as Vince would like to say, 3 weeks away from training camp, right?
Yeah.
So you're just now my guess is you're just now getting ready to clean out the basement. How long did you know that this was on the to-do list from your beautiful wife from the end of last season?
My to-do
and
list.
how much have you just kept kicking that can down the road, Jason?
So wait, you don't want like the suspenseful music for that one? Like it's like a you don't want that.
You are up on the stand.
Connor's finding. There we go.
Not as long as you think. Oh. I've known. So first of all, this is mine. There are 4 projects I think I've said to you guys before the season starts: the garage, the shed, the basement, and our upstairs closets. Yesterday, 3 hours worth of closet time. 3 hours, 4 bags of donations, 5 bags of garbage, and found pictures of my wife's grandparents buried deep in the closet that are now framed in our house. So
this sounds like a Toy Story 5 or Toy Story 6, the beginning of a Toy Story 6
great movie.
Right?
Where the pictures come to life. No, you remember? So here's the thing: our kids just finished school 10 days ago.
What?
So like I've been waiting. Well, 3 kids, 3 schools, 3 different end dates. So like it's kind of been unstructured. But I've been waiting till summer camp started, where I'd have the day to myself. So closet was yesterday, basement's today, garage and shed are next week, and then I start working on training camp stuff. I'm ready to go. Maybe some pickleball in between.
What school schedule are I mean, does that account for like winter days and stuff like that? Why are we so late into summer? I mean, I know that summer just technically started, but...
Yeah, but we don't go back until the end of we don't go back until the first week of September. So
those are the days,
every school has the same amount of school days, public schools in the country. It's just a matter of when they form. And so, ours are on a kind of a crappy calendar, I got to be honest.
Well, I mean, I got to say, good for you, Jace. Good for you getting to the basement, because there's a laundry list of things for me to do at the house that, I'll get to that at some point.
The basement sucks because you got to climb the stairs up. At least when you're cleaning the attic,
you just throw stuff down the stairs.
The closet,
you throw it all down.
You right, exactly.
I mean, I can tell you, Vinny, the attic ain't happening because it's 105, feeling like it literally is like Las Vegas has come to New Jersey. We literally could have training camp here right now, and it would feel the same as July 28th at 1475 Raiders Way. That's exactly how it feels outside here. So I ain't getting into the attic anytime soon, Vinny.
Yeah, I hear you. Is it that, or are you scared of spiders and stuff?
Not so much the spiders, more like the squirrels and chipmunks that might be up there.
Ooh, yeah.
But those are
the ghosts.
Those
Don't
are
forget
friends.
the ghosts. Don't forget the ghosts.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen the Disney movie? Those are friends.
The Dark Dinosaur puzzle.
Oh,
yeah, they're friends.
Yeah, they're friends. Spiders aren't friends. Squirrels and chipmunks, they're friends.
You know what else is disgusting? My son, who you guys have met, brought home the science project for the summer. So we are now the owners of a leopard gecko, which is kind of cool. But watching him eat crickets is absolutely disgusting.
That is pretty good.
Wait, that's the summer project? You have to keep a leopard gecko the whole summer?
Well, no, it was their school science project, right? He's in third grade. He was in third grade. Now in fourth. They were raising a leopard gecko, and they were learning about habitats and all that stuff. It was really cool. And now he's living here. Nessie, the leopard-spotted gecko, is living here. So I'll get this. We learned about geckos yesterday because we go to feed him yesterday, and he's looking pale. He's normally bright yellow with some brown spots on his tail. He's very active. Yesterday, he looks milky white. I'm like, oh, my God, we killed the science project.
Oh, my gosh, Chase.
And we go... Hold on. We go to the interweb. We research pale leopard gecko, and we learn that leopard geckos shed their skin once every 4 to 6 weeks, and then they eat it. Oh. And lo and behold, this morning, he is back to being bright yellow again.
There you go. I thought you were going to say you found out that it was pregnant, so that there were going to be little geckos running around. By the way, I'm going to throw this at you guys. The last attic that I cleaned out was in Ventura,
1997?
No, this was like further back. And we find a box. All right, so this is an older house. We find this box. We open this box, and one of the previous owners, there was a box of old newspaper clippings of old murders and things like that.
What?
And it was
wow.
Yes. Now,
did you tell Adam Hill?
Now, I should have saved that thing. And knowing that, 20, 30 years down the line, I was going to meet somebody that had this obsession with this. It would have been right up his alley. But when I say that was the last attic I ever cleaned out, now you understand why it was last. I'm never going up in an attic again because that thing spooked me. I couldn't sleep for a couple of weeks.
If you really want to be spooked, they made a Netflix show about a murder in our town it's called Google Westfield, New Jersey Watcher House.
What?
And there's like a whole net.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole, yeah. You'll enjoy that, Vinny. You'll never go into anything ever again.
All right.
Oh, boy.
All right. Speaking of can't sleep at night, trying to put together Mount Davis list. Rushmore. Dog Days of Summer. Looking at the all-time greats for the silver and black. We understand this is an impossible task, Chase. Okay, so there's no necessarily wrong answers unless you give a wrong answer. Then we'll let you know. But if Al Davis and John Madden are, they're spoken for, they're good, and you got four placeholders, where are you going?
Sebastian Janikowski.
Ooh, okay.
There's
an argument. Hey, what's funny about that?
Adam Hill.
What's funny is there is an argument. If you really want to get into it, there is an argument. But go ahead.
No, obviously because this franchise has so many, Hall of Fame has got to be one of the caveats. I would think. I would think. I would think that winning a Super Bowl, because there are three of them, means that you have to have had, you have to have been on one of those three. But then it would take away the likes of Charles Woodson. It would take away the likes of Tim Brown. So maybe I don't know that has to be the caveat.
This is called filibustering, by the way.
It is. Right off the top of my head.
We're supposed to lift each other up. We're supposed to pump each other up, not call each other out.
Well, I mean,
if I'm going to go off the top of my head, I'm going to say Jim Otto, Ken Stabler, Fred Biletnikoff, and Marcus Allen.
It's a great list.
But I think I'm missing. Ted Hendricks wasn't on there, and Willie Brown is one of the greatest corners of all time.
Howie Long.
Yeah, Howie Long. Your point is right. It's hard. The Biletnikoff one is interesting because he is, Freddie B is, a Super Bowl 11 MVP, and what a great route runner. The whole aspect of that, the fact that the college best wide receivers named after him, which make me think I'd put him over Tim Brown.
And to this day, he's an ambassador for the Raiders. He is still the ultimate Mr. Raider. So that has to count for it as well.
And then the reason I put Jim Otto is because he's the original Mr. Raider.
Yep,
right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
What was it? What's his consecutive game streak? 210, 220.
It was an insane amount of games. Yeah, for a tough position at a tough time of football too.
Right. So you got that. So he's got to be there.
210. 210.
210.
But again, I'm just going to play devil's advocate just to bear your point out and flesh your point out even more. Is Vinny had Gene Upshaw on his list. And so when you're talking about offensive linemen, Jim Otto is the original Raider, but Gene Upshaw, two-time Super Bowl champion, also on that offensive line, also defined the toughness, et cetera, et cetera. That's why, again, an impossible task.
Where does Art Shell go, right? In terms of what he did on the offensive line, then as a coach, then in the front office, right? Where does he fit into that conversation? So
Over under on how many of these we can come up with before we're starting to stretch it a little bit. I'm saying about there's probably about 4 worthy different separate Mount Rushmores of the Raiders.
Yeah. Have you gotten to anyone where you're like, yeah, that's a great player, that's an unbelievable player, but you he wouldn't be on the Mount Rushmore?
Well, we just had a caller in hour number 1. PDX Raider threw out Dave Casper. And Dave Casper, Hall of Famer.
Some people don't have Marcus Allen on there, and think about Marcus Allen.
So here's a great. This is a great description of why this is so hard. So you guys know this very well, right? I'm hired in 2022. I did not grow up a Raiders fan, other than I was, enamored with Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen from playing Tecmo Bowl. And Charles Woodson, as I grew up a Michigan fan, was one of my favorite college and then obviously pro players too. So I wasn't tied to the Raiders, but I obviously. So when I get the job in 2022, it was actually July. It was the summer of 2022. We're coming up on the anniversary of when I got the call asking if I was interested. It'll be the 8th. will be the 4 years ago. And then the 15th is the anniversary of when I got the call that I got the job. And I knew, because we were going to the Hall of Fame game. That was my first responsibility, right? Cliff Branch is going into the Hall. How much he means to Mark Davis. The fact of how many of those teammates would be there. And I spent 2.5 weeks not only doing prep for like charts, because it's like, well, I wasn't planning on this. I got to get caught up to date on 90 training camp Raiders. But I knew I needed to learn more about the team's history, which obviously is so important to the organization. And so one of the first things I read about was Ghost to the Post. And it happened that preseason was a play like that. So like there's just so much into it, and like he is so important, and they're all so important, and their names and all of that. You don't want to forget any of them. So I get all of that, but I think I would go in some order of the four of the 5 or 6 that I gave you. I think I would go in not any specific order: Kenny Stabler, Jim Otto, Marcus Allen, and then either Willie Brown or Fred Biletnikoff. I think it would be 4 of that group, knowing that I left off, all the other Jack Tatum's and Howie Long's and Gene Upshaw's and all the others.
Super Bowls. Plunkett won
Jim
2
Plunkett,
Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's a great point too. So would you have Stabler or Plunkett, Vinny?
I guess because for longevity purposes, I'd have to go with Kenny Stabler, and I know that we put the Super Bowls on this thing, but the amount of championship games that Kenny Stabler took the Raiders to at a time when there were a couple of iconic obstacles in their way, in the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those were Hall of Fame teams right there. So I'd have to go with Kenny Stabler.
Let me give you another historical part to this. So when I was a kid is when the Apple II. Do you guys remember the Apple IIgs computer?
Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s, you had to put in a floppy disk, or you also had a hard disk, something like that. And so we had a game. It was literally X's and O's on the computer screen where you'd pick, let's say there was a list of 8 plays: run, pass, bomb, field goal, whatever, right? But it was the Raiders' names against the Steelers' names. And so that's where I learned about, I'm 8 or 9 years old.
Franco
That's where
Harris.
I learned about, Willie Brown and all those guys were, not all, but all of the skilled players were written in that game, which was pretty cool.
Man, impossible. You said how many mountain ranges, Vinny? You said 4?
I'd say 4, so that's what? My math is terrible.
12?
That's 12?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I mean, you'll still get, arguments on that 4th range,
right,
as it were. So that's what makes it kind of a fun little exercise. And as Jason pointed out,
here's the next question that you guys can do.
This
early July. For Monday. You ready to do this for Monday?
You tell me.
Where are the Raiders in terms of who has the most that you can put on a Mount Rushmore? What franchises would be able to match? And
are
keep
we talking
in mind,
all sports?
A lot of franchises. No. You could. I was thinking more football, but you could.
When I think of the Raiders, when I think of the Raiders, I think they are up there with any organization that you're going to ever talk about in terms of success. Yeah.
I agree with that, but here's the thing. A lot of the organizations we're going to talk about have added names to their lists or have gotten close in the last 20 years, and the Raiders have not. That's the biggest difference, right?
Well, what's so crazy about that is that nevertheless, the Raiders still have an abundance. That's how dumb, there were years.
Steelers, 49ers, Bears. I guess Patriots would have to be thrown into that in terms of what you're talking about the last 20 years. Just
Yankees,
in terms of
Dodgers,
sheer number
Celtics,
of
Lakers.
Yeah, you're doing all sports, but if we're just doing the NFL,
I'm sitting here. I'm saying that the Raiders stand up with all of them. All of them, Vince. That's
I understand that, but he was saying in the NFL, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that sect of talk. If you're talking about other teams, like how many other football teams can boast that same amount? That's an interesting exercise as well. I did not do that summer school homework yet, though, Chase.
No, me neither.
And I'll be honest with you, it's 4th of July weekend. I don't know if I'm going to get to that reading.
I wasn't planning on getting to that one today. That wasn't part of my basement.
Well, what did you want to talk about today, Jace? What did you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I usually take over the conversation. I'm pretty sure I got 10 minutes of what I wanted to talk about.
Love that.
The basement and the gecko.
I'm pretty sure you guys only have me on Thursdays because you need a 10-minute break from asking the same Raiders questions over and over again.
Well,
let's just hope there isn't a news alert from Connecticut that says, in another news, a basement tragedy occurred and you got locked into the basement or something like that. Yeah.
How about just a basement?
A local man had to dig himself out of the basement.
Not that I want anyone in Connecticut to suffer, but it's okay in Connecticut. If it happens in New Jersey, then you got to.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. New Jersey, Connecticut.
Not that I want anyone in Connecticut. Such a politician, Horowitz. All right, let's ask a now Raider question before we let you go and get back to the basement. Vinny has asked this question, so I'm just going to steal it from him because I think it's a great way to look ahead to training camp. We get a certain spot to view, obviously, training camp throughout the entirety of it. If you got to pick a position group where you got to stand in front of and watch throughout, what is that one position group that you are most fascinated, eager to watch and see play out?
Pads or no pads?
Pads.
Offensive line, defensive line. Yeah, because I think there's the most question marks there. Wide receivers, but I got to be honest, you guys. We talk about wide receivers or corners in camp because of who's beating who, but you're only playing each other, and so if our 7th and 8th receivers are making all these plays in camp, but is it because our 3rd and 4th corners aren't as good, or so it's the guys shoving each other who's winning those battles day-to-day basis. Again, and maybe the defensive line's not as good or the offensive line's not as good. We experienced that last year, but it's that because that's the position where you were leaning on each other more, and it's the one that I feel like you get the most out of in today's training camp because you're not tackling anybody as often or as much.
There it is.
Yeah. That and the quarterbacks for me, but yes.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see the
even
secondary in action in the preseason.
Even in that, though, even in the quarterback thing, I just found a hacky sack. Even in the...
I love a hacky sack.
Wait, are you cleaning as you're talking? Are you multitasking?
Dude, I am always multitasking. You guys know this.
What a champion. This guy is one of one.
I have said this to you guys many times. My job is to be able to talk and listen at the same time. It is a very difficult skill. I think most people talk and they're not listening. But when you're hosting the NCAA tournament and your boss is saying, hey, you got to get here in 9 seconds, I have to hear that while I'm talking. Or if hey, my producer Dave Sniff's doing during a Raider game, hey, we're going to break because of the timeout on the field, I have to hear that. So
as a game broadcaster, how much are you hearing in your ear?
During Raiders games, not that much. Not our radio broadcasts are not as
okay, but what about if you're doing an NCAA basketball game?
You're hearing a good amount. Yeah,
wow.
you're
hearing.
Hey,
not only do you have
replay,
you're listening. Yeah, you're listening to your color commentator. You're listening to your what would be the director. Then you're also watching the game too. That's you're pretty talented.
Let's not go that far.
Yeah, but also there's a button that you're talking back to them. If you want to talk about something and you're able to, hey, I'm going here so that your director can get the camera shot ready.
Well,
that's the best set of teams. Yeah, those are the best teams that can do that.
You're the best.
Inside stuff right there, yeah.
You're the best.
Vince only wishes he could do that.
I wish every day.
Hey, you guys want to hear? You guys want to hear some exciting breaking news for this year? For this year's training camp?
Yeah.
You're ready for this?
I don't know. Am I ready?
Are we allowed to do this?
I'm not. I'm not just bringing one. I'm not just bringing one kid for a couple of practices for you guys. I'm bringing 2.
Well, one already made most of us feel bad based on the amount of knowledge that he knew, and others didn't. Now you're going to have 2?
2. And then when the third one gets old enough, and honestly, and she's the biggest fan of the 3 of them. My 5-year-old, you ask her what team she's rooting for in the World Cup, Raiders.
How long was the face the last couple of years when you had to leave without her?
You mean for training camp or like this weekend?
Yeah, or did this just for the training camp? Or did she just recently come to you and say, Dad, this is the year I'm coming to training camp with you?
No. So this is number 1, the oldest who's coming with, and she's been with me. So she's actually first couple of years she was in the booth a couple of games. We've had daddy-daughter trips. So but she was kind of jealous last year that Noah came and she would like to go. And I said, but you and I had like our own trip. We went and had a great daddy-daughter 3-day weekend, 4th of July weekend last year. She's like, yeah, but I want to see what this is all about. I'm like, okay. So
there you go. We love
she's
it.
coming. Yeah.
Well, we can't wait for it. We can't wait to welcome all of the Horowitzes once again here in Las Vegas. Jason
and we want
Horowitz.
before and after pictures of the basement, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, I could say. How about during? I don't know about before, but I could send you a during picture.
We want to. Send us what this looks like at the moment, and then when it's complete.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to. I also want to see those Power Rangers.
It is coming as we speak.
If you find a green/white Power Ranger, you send that picture.
I don't even think this picture does it justice right now.
Okay.
I don't think this is going to do it justice.
Connor's yelling at me. Jason Horowitz, voice of the Raiders. Jace, we appreciate you as always. Don't work too hard. We'll see you here in a few weeks.
See you guys. Be well.
That's Jason Horowitz, voice of the Raiders at Horowitz Jason. Man, that guy doesn't stop, does he? I found a hacky sack mid-conversation of explaining why he wants to see the offensive-defensive line battles in camp. He's one of one, and we appreciate him. Right here on the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. 702-365-9200 is the number. We'll get back to your text. We'll get back to the phones. Your Mount Davis. Who is on the Mount Davis/Rushmore in the John Madden Park for the Raiders all time? It's the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920.
Vince, Vinny, and Clay want to hear from you. Call or text the show at 702-365-9200. Now, back to the Morning Tailgate.
Welcome back inside the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. Snake Man on the text line says, apparently that gecko just isn't comfortable in his own skin. Snake Man. It's like my kind of joke. But it sounds different when it doesn't come from me. So I guess air high five to you, Snake Man. That's a good one. That's a real good one. 702-365-9200. We're talking Mount Rushmore, a.k.a. Mount Davis in John Madden Park, who is on your mountain all time for the Raiders. 702-365-9200. After anxiously waiting all morning, our resident Raiders historian is with us to chime in, give his expertise on who should be on that mountain range. It's Raider 66 here with us on the Morning Tailgate. Good morning, 66. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you, but there's a lot of pressure on you because the nation is waiting to hear what you have to say. Good morning.
I tell you, good morning, guys. This is an impossible task. It cannot be done, limiting it to 4 people. You could have a Mount Rushmore at pretty much every position on the football field for Raiders. I mean, it is that star-studded. It's that crazy. And there are a few teams that you got, like the Bears, the Packers, the Steelers, 49ers, the Browns even, and the Giants. But you know what's different about those teams? They all started in like the 20s, 30s, and 40s. They had like a 4 to 6 decade head start on the Raiders in getting good players. The Raiders are just in a class by themselves, to put Vinny's point, and they'll stack up with the Dodgers in baseball, the Lakers and the Celtics in basketball. They all have multiple opportunities for Mount Rushmores, but the 4 I'm going to pick are just because they are in the Raiders' own record books, they're a step ahead. You got, obviously, Jim Otto, the original Mr. Raider. His toughness, he had over 70 operations through the course of his career. Just amazing, the toughness of this guy. 210 consecutive games played at center, 308 games as a Raider. And in the AFL lasted 10 years. 9 of those 10 years, he was first team all AFL. The guy has accolades coming out his ears. He was just one of the greatest football players in the history. Made the all 100-year team. So, it tells you how good. Then you got the all-time winningest quarterback in Raider history, Ken Stabler. That's what I'm taking. And you cannot count how many miraculous comebacks this guy had. He was the original captain comeback. You were never out of it. I talked to him briefly once, and I was asking him. He told me, he goes, I never lost a game. I go, Ken, he goes, no. He goes, I ran out of time. He goes, but I never lost a game. He was fighting to the very end. Then you got Marcus Allen. He's the all-time Raider rushing leader. His first year, it kind of bothers me sometimes when rookies come in for the Raiders and they eclipse Marcus's rookie total. And I think Jacobs is the only one that's done that so far. But they eclipse his rookie total, and I'm like, well, yeah, you have to remember his rookie year was 1982, the strike year. He only played 9 games. So you give him a few more games, and it probably would have been untouched. And then we all know what he did in Super Bowl 18. That is just miraculous. I wish they would have given him the ball another 1 or 2 times to get that 200 yards, be the first guy for 200 yards in the Super Bowl, but they didn't. And then, of course, Freddie B. So mine is mirroring what Jason had. Freddie B., here's a stat for you guys to show you how different football is nowadays. Fred Biletnikoff is the first player in NFL history to have 40 or more receptions 10 years in a row. Think about that. The guys nowadays get that in like 3 games. That's how different this game is. From 1967 to 1976, he was the first receiver to get 40 or more receptions 10 years in a row. He has the best college receiver named after him on a trophy. Ted Hendricks has the best linebacker in college named after him. Ray Guy has the best punter in college named after him. The Raiders have got stars everywhere. And to put just 4 names up there is crazy. Like I said, you could have a Mount Rushmore for offensive linemen. You could have a Mount Rushmore for receivers, defensive backs. And I have no defensive players on this list. It's crazy. Willie Brown is in the Hall of Fame. Willie Brown was a great defensive back. You know what? He was not drafted. And you want to know, I believe he is the only player in the NFL Hall of Fame who is in the Hall at a position he did not play in college. And I should rephrase that. He's the only undrafted player in the NFL Hall of Fame who did not play his Hall of Fame position in college. That's how great this guy was. He invented the bump and run. They changed the rules because him and the Soul Patrol and were so good at the bump and run. It's just remarkable history. And then you talk about how dominant they were. And you had the Dolphins standing in the way. You had the Steelers standing in the way. And those battles were epic. The Steelers and the Raiders still hold the record for meeting in the playoffs 5 consecutive years. 3 of those years in a row were in the championship game. But one of the great things is I believe the Raiders are still number 6 or 7 in playoff wins with 25. How many wins have they had in the last 20, 30 years? That's how great Al Davis put together this team when they were first starting. So, it's an impossible task. There are basically no wrong answers because you have so many names to choose from. But I'll go to battle with those guys. And you know what? The neat thing is, years from now, you know who the new Raider Nation's Mount Rushmore is probably going to be?
Who's that?
Fernando, Bowers, Genty, and Crosby. That could be the Mount Rushmore for the guys, 10, 15 years from now. That's who they are going to remember, and those guys, I believe, are all going to be great. Thank you guys for indulging me in the time. This is right up my alley. I love this type of conversation with Raider greatness. Have a good day, and go Raiders.
66. Epic, and exactly what we expected, if not more. Probably more. Thank you for indulging us with the history and the knowledge. So he had Otto, He had Stabler, he had Marcus Allen, and he had Biletnikoff as his 4. That is a strong arguments as to why.
We were pretty much the same. The only difference was I think I went Tim Brown over Biletnikoff. But, again, in this argument, there's really not a wrong answer.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of different right ones.
I like the way you said that. And I do love that from Stabler. He said, I didn't lose, I just ran out of time. I never lost a game, just ran out of time.
When Raider 66 said that, and that's a world famous quote by Kenny Stabler. But I also remembered, I forget who the coach's wife was. It might have been George Allen's wife or Don Shula's wife, some famous NFL head coach. And the wife said, I've spent a lifetime in stadiums watching clocks that either were going by too fast or too slow, depending on whether or not her husband's team was in the lead or was trailing. Isn't that a great quote, though?
That's fantastic. And it's so true. It's unbelievably true. But that was great stuff out of 66. 702-365-9200 is the number. We're going to continue to take your calls coming up at the end of this hour, as well as into hour number 3. Your text messages, where there's a ton of them. We are going to get to them here shortly. But first, we got to give away a pair of tickets. NBA Summer League returns, like training camp, this month. At the Thomas & Mack and the Pavilion, July 9th through the 19th. Another exciting rookie class. More young and up-and-coming players from across the league. We've got a pair of tickets, courtesy of your friends here at Raider Nation Radio 920 in the morning tailgate. All you got to do is be caller number...
You know what? We had a great call from Raider 66, so let's go with caller number 6.
Caller number 6. That means pay attention. Dial up the number, 702-365-9200. Caller number 6 gets a pair of tickets to NBA Summer League. We'll continue to get your calls on the other side here on the morning tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920.
We'll take your comments and questions on X. Follow us at RNR920AM. Let's dig in to the morning tailgate on Raider Nation Radio 920.
Welcome back inside the tailgate, 702-365-9200. Your Mount Rushmore, your Mount Davis. Who are your all-time Raider greats that you are sculpting on a mountain? And I guess bonus question, because it makes for an interesting answer. How many mountains, could all-time Raiders fit? 4 feels like a good one. Until you get to the point where you're like, does he need to be on it? Because you got to have guys that could, in theory, be on the first mountain. That will be on the 4th one, right? Like we're talking about splitting hairs.
Yeah, so 4 separate ones is what we're saying, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Like that's what I'm trying to do. So let's just run through that exercise, right? When we talk offense, an Otto, Upshaw, Marcus Allen, Tim Brown, Biletnikoff. That's 5.
Yeah.
Stabler, Plunkett. I mean, that's 7 right there. We haven't
Brown.
even...
Marcus.
Did I say... No, I didn't say Marcus. So that's 8.
Right. Cliff Branch.
That's 9.
Did you say Tim Brown?
I did say Tim Brown.
Okay.
That's 9. We haven't even gone to defense. We haven't even included Al Davis and John Madden in terms of if we're doing full mountain range. Like, that's 4 right there without touching defense.
You can make the argument for Bo Jackson. It was short, but he was electric.
Right. That's what I meant. That's why when you said 4, I was like, that sounds like not enough.
4 is 4. I mean, I think after 4 you're starting to.
But I'm just saying we got to 10 or we got to 11 and we didn't talk about a defensive player.
Oh yeah, okay, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And was it Jason, who brought up a good Art Shell. If we're going to talk about another coach, that's 12. That's 3.
And he would be a player as well.
Right.
You know? Speaking of some contemporary things, so I'm doing these stories for the Raiders and the 49ers, the Rams, and the Chargers, ranking the top offenses and the top defenses that they're playing this year, 1 through 14, as we did with the quarterbacks and coaches and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to ask you a question, and we'll play with play money. All right, I'll give you $100 play money if you could tell me who led the NFL in rushing last year and how many yards.
It was 1,400 yards, 1,400 and change.
Was it James Cook?
It was James Cook. It was, yeah.
It took you guys a little while. And you needed help, by the way. Yeah, it was James Cook, but it was actually 1,621 yards.
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills, by the way. They were the leading rushing team in the NFL. Interesting, huh? I mean, that's not a name that just jumps out at you as, that's the leading rusher in the NFL, right? That kind of it surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, and so McCaffrey would have been in the top 5. Saquon was in the top 5 still, even though it wasn't that type of year.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor was in top 5? I'm trying to do this without looking.
I'd have to hang on. That's a good.
I know Javonte Williams kind of snuck it. He finished around 1,200. So who was above that?
Because I know because I did this exercise with Ashton Genty that 500 more yards would have put him in the top 5 of last year's rushers. It would have put him at 1,400. He would have been in the top 5.
Yeah, I'm getting
so James Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon,
Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Did Jahmyr Gibbs get in the top 5?
Well, you're missing there's a couple prominent ones.
Go ahead, just
Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah,
with 1,005.
That guy.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson was number 4.
Not Jonathan.
1,478. Devon
HN.
Yeah, 1,350, which is why the Chargers to me are a team to keep an eye on, with Mike McDaniel as their new head coach. I mean, their new offensive coordinator. 6 was Kyron Williams at 1,252.
Oh wow. Huh. Okay. Oh yeah, Derrick Henry's probably a name I should.
I thought Derrick Henry had more of a down year last year. It must.
That's his down year.
Yeah, right.
That's his down year. But go ahead, Vinny.
Just didn't realize I wasn't familiar necessarily with. I knew obviously James Cook and how good he is, but I just forgot maybe how talented he really is.
He had a lot of big home run balls, and that's kind of what initially made me remember James Cook as you asked the question. I was like, okay, yeah, James Cook had a lot of 50, 60-plus yard home run hitters last season.
And I remember that was the big talking point, too, during obviously this time last year, James Cook needed a new contract, right? And the thing with new contracts, and he was a holdout or he was a hold-in. I forget which one, but it took a while. It took a minute before he got paid. But inevitably, the conversation is always this never ends well. Like he never lives up to the contract, and then he leads the league in rushing. And then that was the focus during the postseason. Josh Allen didn't have to do it all by himself. They had a running game this time, but the defense wasn't living up to what maybe it had in the previous couple of years.
Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting. The Buffalo Bills are an interesting team.
They're a fun team. They're a fun team.
They're a fun team. They added DJ Moore. Yeah, they added DJ Moore. I mean, let's face it. They should have won that playoff game, right?
Yeah.
But there were 4 turnovers. I think it was either 3 or 4 by Josh Allen.
Yeah,
it was like a career high. So short of that, they probably go to the Super Bowl last year, right?
Not only was it an anomaly just in terms of him turning the ball over, especially in the last couple of years, because he seemingly fixed that, but he has never been the issue in the postseason, and that was the one game where he was.
Yep.
All right.
Crazy.
Hour number 3 on the way, 702-365-9200. We got our Summer of Fun giveaway still ahead. Smash Mouth tickets for the 4th of July this weekend. We want to continue to get to your calls, your texts. on the Mount Rushmore, the Mount Davis. We're going to get to your text in a big way, but we want to get to your phone calls, too. We want to get a little back and forth with Raider Nation ahead of the long weekend break. 702-365-9200. It's the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920.
This is the Morning Tailgate.
I'll just tell the Raider Nation that we have to earn your trust. We got to earn those seats in the stands by putting a great product on the field. Words will not do it. It's our actions.
With Vin Sapienza, Vinny Bonsignore, and Clay Baker on Raider Nation Radio 920.
It's hour number 3 here in the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. The flagship for the silver and black. Vince Sapienza, Vinny Bonsignore. Connor on the ones and twos coming to you live from Las Vegas on a Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. Quick programming note for Raider Nation. I'll remind them as we get to the final sit-down later this hour. No local shows here on Raider Nation Radio 920 tomorrow or Monday. So this is it. This is the last hurrah before next week, Tuesday. So now's the time to hit up 702-365-9200, especially talking about the topic at hand, which is the Mount Rushmore of all-time Raider greats, or in this case, the Mount Davis. Who is on your mountain range? Who has to be there? 702-365-9200. And while we'll continue to get to that conversation, wait for the calls to pile in, along with the text messages that are waiting to be read. An interesting, speaking of Mount Rushmores, all-time greats, very interesting question just came across the TV. And I'm very curious what our own Vinny Bonsignore has to say about it. Does LeBron James deserve a statue in L.A.?
No statue, but absolutely his number should be retired.
So the argument is he finished top 10 in points, assists, field goals, 3 points, 3-point field goals, and he brought a championship to L.A.
Yes, not under no circumstances should there be a statue of LeBron, but his number should definitely be retired. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. That's one of the criterias for the Lakers, and also obviously he brought a championship to L.A.
Does he get a? Obviously, he's going to get a statue in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's no. Does he get one in Miami?
They won what? Two? Or yeah. I don't even know if they do statues to be.
No, I know.
Honest,
I'm just talking. Like, would he be if they were to do a statue?
I would imagine so. Although I know Pat Riley's. He could get into his feelings sometimes. I love that, but, and I don't know that he was all that happy with how it all ended the last time. So who knows?
So you think it's more likely a statue in Miami than L.A.?
I would say more likely, yeah. They had some fun times in Miami. They went to multiple finals. They didn't win them all, but they went to a few and they won a couple. So yeah, I would think so. If there's a
didn't Pat Riley just get a statue for him this year
at Staples Center? Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see him bringing that to Miami. Once you get one for you, it's like.
No, you're talking about for LeBron. We're talking about LeBron, though.
No,
yes,
yeah,
but I'm just saying in general because you had mentioned that Miami doesn't do statues. I could see them, making the pivot after seeing
Pat Riley. Yes, yeah. Without question, he's the reason.
Pat's like, well, let me get a statue in Miami first, and then the order would be Dwayne Wade, Shaq. No, Shaq before LeBron.
No,
LeBron before Shaq.
Yeah, Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh before LeBron? No,
not Chris Bosh before LeBron.
But Chris Bosh before Shaq?
Yeah.
Really?
No. Yeah, that's a tougher one. That's a tougher one.
No, LeBron, look, here's how that all went down. LeBron had tried to get they were all free agents. He was a free agent. Chris Bosh was a free agent, and Dwayne Wade was a free agent, all in the same year. Okay, and he begged everybody to come join him in Cleveland. That was what his original plan was. But everyone was like, "Yeah, we're not going to Cleveland. Sorry, Cleveland, but we're not going to." Dwayne Wade wasn't going to leave Miami for Cleveland. Chris Bosh obviously was open to leaving Toronto, but he didn't want to go to Cleveland. So that's why it moved. That party moved from where the original idea was in, and also this was post, and everyone wants to always blame LeBron for this. This was post, and nobody ever brings this up. How about Kevin Garnett leaving Minnesota to go to
the Boston Three party?
That was also the guard Ray Allen. Ray Allen wasn't an unoriginal Boston Celtics.
Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and KG.
That he had to coerce his way to Boston too. So that was the origins of all this. LeBron gets the bulk of the blame for it. But he did try to make it work in Cleveland. They were hugely successful when he was in Cleveland. They just weren't able to close the deal. They made the finals with him, and so that's why it ended up in Miami. If it had his way, it would all have been in Cleveland. But that's not how it worked out. But of course, he's going to take the blame. He's got big shoulders. He can
not to go off too much in a tangent. Aren't people more upset? Isn't the overarching anger against LeBron not that he got everybody to go to Miami? It's the way he did it with the decision, and then with coming out of the ground, being introduced, not one, not two. Isn't that more of the anger than the actual act of getting these stars together?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Right, but if you had to pick one, the anger was
he raised millions of dollars, by the way.
Right, nobody talks about that either.
Yeah,
they just talk about how pompous.
It was a total ESPN production. I mean, they're if you want to blame anybody, they're to blame as much as he is. They were like, hey, could we do that? And we could do it, and we could tie in a nice thing for the the YMCA, and he's like, okay, we'll do it. I was not like. I mean, like in today's world, that's like common. You make a TV special about everything. Like there's a documentary about everything.
He was kind of the ground floor of those decision makings happening.
Or just the kind of those behind the scenes type looks at things, and I mean, but I always say this: that was the biggest gripe that people have is that, not one, not two, not three. I mean, it was a party going on in Miami at that point. Did you see if you remember that, it was a big rally that they put together. There were fans there. Everyone was, it was a euphoric. If you were a Miami Heat fan or in South Beach, your entire franchise just changed for the, you know what I'm saying? Like LeBron James and Chris Bosh are here just like that. Like, of course it's going to be a big party.
And Dwayne
so they got caught,
because that was the other massive worry is that he was, again, going to go somewhere else.
With LeBron and Bosh.
Prime D Wade.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. What a wild time. What a wild time that was.
Yeah. Right.
That was fun. People don't need to be angry all the time.
While we're completely off tangent, can I go ahead and ask you guys if Toronto would be willing to build a statue for Kawhi Leonard? He's won one championship there, and then he said, I am never coming back. And then, unfortunately, he got traded back. Do you think if he can win again, is he back in good graces with the Canadians?
Oh, I don't think he was ever in bad graces with the Canadians. They were so appreciative of what he did.
Yeah, they're a friendly bunch.
They offered him like a key to the city, and he still left.
Yeah. They're like, he's going home. I mean, it was to go home to Southern California, and and he didn't. He got traded to Toronto, so he didn't sign there as a free agent. He didn't get drafted by the Toronto Raptors. He delivered the only championship in franchise history. So I've never read it as Toronto. They were disappointed, but I don't ever. In fact, I think he got a standing ovation when he went back. They graciously
they're a friendly
understood.
Bunch. Yeah, they're a friendly bunch. They're not quite the.
Everyone said thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody gets a statue in Toronto for basketball, it has to be Kawhi. Vince Carter would be the only other, but like Vince Carter was more of a I don't want to say he wasn't a great basketball. He was a great basketball, but he was also kind of a phenomena, right? More than there was no championship. There was no.
He was a highlight reel. It was like watching.
They were on their way because they had Tracy McGrady too, and then he left. Yeah, so.
But that's what I mean. Like if anybody's getting one, it probably would be Kawhi.
Yeah. Kawhi, yeah, I could see Vince Carter. Vince Carter did some really
amazing
fun
things. Like I told the story, for the NBA dunk contest. The next day, I was at the store and I was like, I need a Toronto Raptors pencil because Vince Carter was the man. He also had the greatest name ever, Vince, obviously. So, anyways, yeah, that's interesting. I just thought we saw it across the screen. I was like, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Does he deserve a statue in LA? All-time points leader. In NBA history, like his overarching accolades are worthy of a statue, basically in NBA anywhere. But for LA, and LA has as Vinny knows, there's some very specific resumes, things you need to have checked off in order to get a statue in LA. But it does make for an interesting. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He brought a championship to the city. It's an interesting discussion, to say the least.
Yeah, but I would say there's no chance of a statue. That's like Kobe, Kareem, multiple championships, Magic, Pat Riley, who brought. He was 4, I think it was. He might have been 5. He might have been on a part of all 5 of those championships because I think he was an assistant coach on one of them. So, the orchestrator of Showtime. So, and then you got, Oscar De La Hoya. He meant a lot because Staples Center was where he had some big time fights, brought back boxing to Southern California. I think Wayne Gretzky's out there, right?
Wayne Gretzky is out there.
Even though that was. I don't know that he ever played at Staples Center, at least as part of the Kings. I think they were still at the Forum. But the Kings owner owns that stadium, so Phil Anschutz, and he was obviously an indelible part of hockey in Southern California. So obviously he deserves that. Chick Hearn is out there, the longtime voice of the Lakers. I'm trying to figure out who I may have missed. But that's it's as like Kareem never played at Staples Center, but it's Kareem. I mean, and so that was a total Laker thing. I don't know that LeBron did enough in Los Angeles. I know he was a member of the Lakers when he broke the scoring record, but the bulk of those points were done elsewhere, not with the Lakers. So I would say there's zero chance that LeBron actually gets a statue, but he is a shoo-in to have the number retired, and that's pretty illustrious as well.
Zero chance, Vinny. All right, that's fine.
No statue for LeBron. If there's some Laker fans out there that disagree with me or agree with me, 702-365-9200. I don't see the merit of LeBron getting a statue in Los Angeles. That's one step above the numbers. The number is important enough for me. I mean, even that, I would imagine that there's some Laker fans who said, no, he shouldn't even have his number retired. He absolutely should. He won a championship. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He was there for 8 years, the same amount of years, by the way, that Shaq was there. I think Shaq got one as well.
Shaq is there.
Yeah, Shaq has one as well.
Shaq's the one that he's hanging on the rim. It might be my favorite statue because it's just so unique the way it's set up. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand, the Rushmores, if you will. Larry up on the text line didn't give us Mount Rushmore, but had this to say. So, good morning. Defense wins championships. Single coverage corners are so valuable. I nominate the duo entry of Hayes and Haynes due to the political correctness of today's landscape. I'm not using nicknames. Okay. So he just gave us the entry of Hayes and Haynes. TJ in Montana. Raiders Rushmore. Offense. Otto. Stabler. Brown. Allen. Defense. Howie. Townsend. Woodson. Hendricks. Strong. That's strong.
Like it, yep.
That is very strong. Fabian on the text line, but he gave us. I'll get to Fabian in a second because he corrected it after the caveat of Al Davis. So give me a second to find that. But Funky Raider says, "Good morning, my Funketeers. Here's my list. I have one old school list and a new school. One is Al, Otto, Shell, Tatum. Bonus is the Snake. New school, Marcus Allen, Cliff Branch, Charles Woodson, Tim Brown. Bonus, Greg Townsend." He just kind of did his own list, old school.
Okay.
School.
He had 4 mountain ranges to choose from.
That's what I mean. We can do this.
We are at Al Davis Park, so there's various mountain ranges, right? You figure that we're surrounded by mountains if we're going to draw a picture of it. So there's ample space at a big, beautiful Al Davis Park to do multiple ones.
Yeah. So Fabian said Casper, Otto, Stabler, Bolitnikov in the offensive group. The defensive side remains the same, which he had to go back. Oh, just the Soul Patrol. The Soul Patrol is his defense.
All right. I like it.
I do like that. Raider Sal says my Mount Rushmore: Tim Brown, Touche, Woodson, Branch. It's the first twos we've gotten. We haven't even mentioned him all day.
No, this would be a good list. I should have been taking the tallies of how many times we get specific names to see who the overall most picked name for Mount Rushmore was.
Maybe we take the top 4 most mentioned names.
Well, I can tell you. So if you want to, it's Otto definitely has been mentioned the most so far. Marcus Allen and Tim Brown and Stabler are the 4. On offense. Defense, we've gotten Bolitnikov, Woodson, and Townsend as the most on defense so far.
We had a couple Howie Longs, I thought.
We got 2 Howie Longs, but none of our callers said Howie. We could put Howie.
It feels like the offensive players are outweighing us right now. I'm surprised we haven't gotten a Tatum yet.
We got 1 Tatum.
Okay.
We didn't I read that? Yeah, we got 1 Tatum. That was from Funky.
Yeah, Funky did have the old school Tatum.
Old school Tatum.
He had the old school.
Tatum. Yeah. Man, this is. Red Bill was obviously Big Al, Otto, Howie, Stabler. Hot Sauce Raider. Good morning, Tailgate. Why no love for 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback Jim Plunkett? Happy Independence Day, Nation. Go Raiders. I think Vinny, you touched on Jim Plunkett. I guess the reasoning for like just doing one, right? I would lean Stabler over Plunkett because he was the first. Longer.
Well, it wouldn't be the first for me. It would be he had more longevity, and I mean there were. They won one, but they were in the NFC or the AFC Championship game multiple times consecutively, and they just happened to run into a couple of juggernauts in Super Bowl winning Pittsburgh Steelers, multiple Super Bowl winner Pittsburgh Steelers, multiple Super Bowl winning Miami Dolphins. So but he was there for a longer time than Jim Plunkett, and there was more overall continued success, consistent success. But Jim Plunkett, does get credit for 2 Super Bowls, so that's hard to ignore. He was more of a burst, in terms of how long he was with the Raiders and the success that he had with the Raiders, but then it wasn't quite as sustained as Kenny, even though he had one more Super Bowl win.
Why isn't? And I feel like we need Adam Hill for this discussion. No Janikowski, no Ray Guy. Yeah,
I mean, as obviously as important as special teams is, I'm not discounting that, but no, not in maybe there is a team there's a team out there where a special teamers player should be on their Mount Rushmore, maybe because they don't have as enough of the other players, but the Raiders do. So not to say that they're not worthy, whether it's the Hall of Fame or mention, because they are very, very good, but you have to draw the line somewhere, and there's just too many good down in, down out impact players that the Raiders had for multiple years that deserve recognition on the Mount Rushmore ahead of them.
Ben in Vegas, we got our first George Blanda.
Okay.
Good addition, Ben. Tech Raider says, Tailgaters, here's the Mount Rushmore of the most iconic NFL franchises in the Super Bowl era. Factoring in Hall of Fame players, classic games, Super Bowl's brand identity, and fan bases, it would be the Steelers, Cowboys, Packers, Raiders. Any argument there?
How would you do that if it was all of sports?
If you would do all of sports.
Yeah.
So let's just go baseball.
Even though the Cardinals, look at the Cardinals.
Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox.
I want to say the Cardinals have the second most World Series wins, by the way. People forget, but hold on a second. Let me double check that.
We're not just doing brands. We're doing actual success.
Well, yeah, that's success is the key to everything to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, it would have to be Yankees, Dodgers. I think that's the list.
Cardinals have 11.
I think but I think they're in a. That's fine, that's great
compared to the Dodgers 9. It's more. They have more World Series championships than the Dodgers and the Red Sox. The Athletics actually have 9. That goes back to their Philadelphia days, and then obviously when they were in Oakland, they won.
So would you put the Cardinals over the Dodgers then? If we're doing Mount Rushmore,
I don't know. Probably
pro
not.
Teams,
no.
Because I do think it's all encompassing too. It's success,
star power should be
star power. It's brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the Dodgers, yes, and plus they broke the color line with Jackie Robinson. So they ushered baseball into the West. I know that still angers some people in Brooklyn and New York, but they broke through that glass door to bring baseball to the West Coast. So along with the Giants, but the Dodgers were the more. That was the bigger story, even at that time.
Let's continue to pull that thread here on the other side. 702-365-9200. We'll continue to get to your Mount Rushmores, take your final calls. But right now, it is our final Summer of Fun of the week for South Dakota. A visit to Mount Rushmore, perhaps, which is kind of sparked this Mount Rushmore topic, so to speak. It's the Summer of Fun. Raider Nation Radio 920 and Terribles bringing back that Summer of Fun as we celebrate America 250. You got a chance to escape some fun places, have some great adventures like in Hawaii, the Grand Canyon, Sedona, Yellowstone National Park, theme parks in SoCal, Mississippi River Cruise, staycation, or you can take the cash, $3,000 in totality. It's your choice. Keep listening. The word of the day, 702-365-9200. Summers are meant to be fun. The Summer of Fun brought to you by Terribles. And Raider Nation Radio 920, this week's Summer of Fun, again, South Dakota. Flights and a 4-night stay. South Dakota, the word of the day is...
It is going to be country. It looks like it's country today. We did have a word for tomorrow, but there is no programming tomorrow. So if people are lucky, maybe I'll throw another word in before the end of the show. But for today, if you get country in, that's your best chance of getting entered in.
COUNTRY. Text in the word country to 702-365-9200. You are entered for a chance to win a Summer of Fun trip to South Dakota, which is home to Mount Rushmore. Courtesy Raider Nation Radio 920, Terribles, and here at the Morning Tailgate, it's Raider Nation Radio 920.
Vince, Vinny, and Clay want to hear from you. Call or text the show at 702-365-9200. Now, back to the Morning Tailgate.
Welcome back inside the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. Don't forget our Summer of Fun keyword. Texting in 702-365-9200 to see Mount Rushmore. Country. Country. And as we said off the top, I'm pretty pumped that this entire country feels pretty pumped about that not being a red card last night, Connor. Unfortunately, sounds like there is no mechanism to appeal ahead of the round of 16, which means Balogun will be missed. And they'll have to do it without him in Seattle. Angry. But we're going to keep positive. We're going to keep positive here on a Thursday in the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get upset like I did when DeCamillis changed the Tokyo Toes nickname to Special K. Vinny, I'm not going to get upset.
No excuses, Vince. You got to just go beat, Belgium now?
Got to go do it.
It is what it is. Make the most of the situation. You can cry in your soup all you want. He got the red card. Move on. So, and I know that, don't make that be the excuse of why you lose. They're not out there playing with 10 players. They're going to have, they're going to, right? That doesn't carry over, right?
No, it doesn't. That would be quite a rule. Could you?
Yeah. There's a lot of good players on this team. This is the United States. We should be able to. There's nobody that's irreplaceable.
Could you imagine if that carried over? Oh, like a power play in hockey carrying over the next period. Ugh. Anyways, all right. You snap me back into it, Vinny. This is America. We're gonna bounce back. We're resilient, baby.
So let me get this straight. In soccer, if a guy gets a red card 1 minute into the game, you got to play shorthanded.
Bingo.
How dramatic?
Yeah, don't do that.
There's just that's a little too dramatic. My goodness.
Don't do it. Don't get a red card in the first minute. That's a real problem.
That puts a lot.
Do you know how much? Forget the game. Do you know how much your teammates will hate you? The amount of running that has to be done in general.
That puts a lot of power in the hands of the officials. Forget the player. Like what? I mean, first of all, what would even constitute a red flag?
Apparently, accidentally stepping on someone's ankle.
No, like honestly, in a general sense,
punching a dude in the face.
Okay, that didn't happen. I mean, yeah, that should, but okay. I mean, that would be dumb.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean,
that's dumb.
Going up for a header and just absolutely ripping an elbow across somebody's nose.
If to start off the match,
that would be really stupid to do that. That would be really stupid to do that.
Yeah, but again, that's why the frustration is what it is from last night is because the red card seemingly did. Like the foul and the play didn't even warrant a red card.
That's why I'm saying
a yellow card. Sure, is like you got him on the back of the calf. You stepped on his ankle. Okay, but to sit there and be like you're done for the rest of the game on a challenge,
and your team has to play shorthanded the rest.
Hence the frustration of why it wasn't even believed to be a red card. Nobody's upset that he's not. The red card is the rule is you can't play the next game. That is what it is. It's. The fact that it was just a straight red. It wasn't a second yellow. It was just a straight red with 30-plus minutes left in the game. Anyways,
when was the last time you would say that? Oh yeah, that was definitely a red card.
I would say when there's a red card, it is typically okay. That is justified. Now, a couple days ago, a red card was issued because there's a new rule in FIFA that players are not allowed to cover their mouths and talk. And say something to the opposing team because they're trying to get rid of verbal dissent as well as not even allow.
That's overly dramatic.
I agree with that.
That's overly. Are you kidding me?
And that was a red card. So
now
was it 2 days ago, Connor? 3 days ago we saw that?
Yeah, it looked like that happened on June 30th.
Naughty boy.
It was Pierre. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name.
Come on,
it'll
be fun. It'll be fun.
But you are allowed to just scream at the dude without putting your hand on your mouth.
You just can't put your hand over your mouth.
What are we talking about?
I do think now I could be wrong, but I thought it was either the Premier League or something earlier this year. There was a bit of a situation where a player had racist slurs thrown at him, and that's what this had stemmed from. Right?
It's their way to combat racial slurs from because people were saying he said something derogatory to me and there would be no proof because the hand was over the mouth. So now basically a way to not allow that, say you put your hand over the mouth, you're going to get a red card. It's as simple as that.
Even if you're just wiping sweat off your face or quick little, I don't know.
Well, that's what he tried to do. That's what he tried to do. He tried to make it seem like he was wiping his mouth, but the cameras clearly caught his mouth moving.
Jeez.
Again, I agree. I think that is.
Was he saying something racial? Because you're out.
Well, that we don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of takes away the integrity.
Well, the fact that it even came to that is on the players. Let's stop saying racial things, soccer players. What are we talking about?
Right, but so if you look back at the video, but that's the thing. He is yelling at the guy. The guy's just taking it, and then all of a sudden he puts his hand over his mouth. And the opposing player just starts pointing, being like, look, his hand's over his mouth. The ref saw it, and there he goes.
So we had two of those situations happen so far this World Cup. There was the one that we were just talking about with Piero from Ecuador, and then the very first one was
Ecuador,
Miguel Almarion, I want to say. I'm probably butchering that. And from Paraguay. That was in their match against Turkey. So in the earlier stages there.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll say this too. That's dumb. If you know that that's the rule, don't put your hand over your mouth and talk. Don't do it. That's stupid. So, yes, then if that is the rule, then obviously it is. Then that's on you. You're dumb. You earned your red card, and you just let your teammates down, and they have every right to be pissed off at you. It's the ones like last night where obviously the official was interpreting something, like he must have felt like there was intent to do that.
Well, the thing is with a red card, the rule is intent has nothing to do with it. It's just if a foul is deemed egregious enough that it is deserving of a red card, it is a red card. The issue everybody has with it is that it was a challenge in the air. They both went up, and when they landed, Balogun's cleat scraped the calf and then but ended up on the ankle, which that's gravity. Your leg's gonna come down. It came down on the ankle. I don't care how it's interpreted. I read the rule. I've read FIFA's ruling of what constitutes a red card. To me, that did not constitute a red card, so I don't understand. I still don't understand because it wasn't called on the field. They had to go to VAR. They had to go look on the screen, look at the slow motion, all that stuff. I don't know why slow motion should dictate anything on that.
And it's been a physical World Cup. They've been letting guys play, too.
Which they should.
Yeah. It's like what you see in the NBA Finals when they're going to let guys play. Or you see in the Super Bowl. You'll let a few calls go for the sake of the big game. I think more cards need to be given, though, for the amount of embellishment and the amount of rolling on the ground that happens. You start rolling on the ground and you pop up 5 seconds later, I'm giving you a card. Like, if you're going to roll around and be hurt, okay, fine, if you're hurt. But if I see you within a 10 to 20 second span start sprinting, you're getting a card.
What's the deal with that in soccer?
I don't. I wish I had an answer for Vinny.
Are they trying to get a card on the other player?
Yes, that's exactly.
Come on.
Which to your point,
I always wondered, are they trying to get some rest time?
No. It's more so trying to get the other player in trouble than anything. But I completely agree with you. This is where the power is in the ref. That is where the ref should wield his power to stop that, especially early on in a game. Start just flashing yellow cards because then everybody will be on the up and up. But the problem is you start flashing yellow cards early, it's going to happen more later in the game when somebody on a yellow card fouls you, you're going to be like, give him a second yellow so it's a red. It's a bad it's tough. I don't know what the answer is for it. It's very frustrating as a fan of soccer because you don't see it in the women's game at all. You don't see any of this in the women's game. Fouls happen all the time. They pop right back up. It is what it is. The men, they just roll around and they it's very
I think that yeah.
And that's another reason why people wanted to have success in our country. That's the exact reason why it won't. And that's why I hate when the U.S. team does it. I saw a little bit of it last night because they were, in that respect, they were trying to waste time when they were down 10 men.
I also think
it drives me nuts.
Yeah, I also think that soccer from a just a pure kind of watching it standpoint, unless obviously everybody's tied in. It's the United States, but if you're talking about the LA Galaxy or a team like in the United States, there's not that we're not all behind it and tied into and invested in it and rooting and being all for it. I think once you start, then when you just want to become a soccer fan of one of the teams out here, it's like it's not the most exciting sport necessarily. There isn't, to me, enough scoring. I think the field, for me anyway, this is just my 2 cents. It's too big, and that's why when you're a one-man short, it's not like you're one-man short in hockey where there's a condensed playing surface where you're going to feel that the pain of not having a fifth player out there in hockey, or if you're just one man short, you feel it more than in a vast, huge field like soccer. To me, anyway.
Let's get a couple more texts. Where did it go? I had a good one. Now it's lost. It's lost for all time. Oh, here we go. This is Gabe. Mount Rushmore on offense: Stabler, Tim Brown, Cliff Branch, Marcus Allen. Defense, Howie, Woodson, Tatum, Alzado. Huh. It's our first Alzado.
Alzado.
Yeah, sorry.
Lyle Alzado.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. It's like
it was like one of your Vince spins on it.
What was like
Alzado.
me with Adzani, Zach Adzani. Sorry. 66 back chiming in. What do you got for us, 66? Mount Rushmore is Davis, Madden, Stabler, Blanda, Freddie, Otto, Shell, Upshaw, Brown, Casper, Haynes, Willie Brown, Namdi, Seawood, Howie, Hendricks, Tim Brown, and that's just guys off the top of my head who are in the Hall of Fame. Doesn't include who should be in, like LaMonica, second highest winning percentage for a quarterback, Lester, Plunkett, on and on and on.
Yeah.
What do we got here, Connor? Oh, we got the Summer of Fun. Or no, we just did Summer of Fun. We got Smash Mouth.
We got Smash Mouth. These tickets have to be picked up today.
Okay.
They have to be picked up by 4 p.m.
Okay.
But we got a pair of tickets, and it is for a pool party on 4th of July.
4th of July, America's birthday.
With Smash Mouth doing the concert. I think that's worth the call.
At the Sahara.
At the Sahara.
Or at Sahara. It's not the Sahara. It's at Sahara.
Corrections.
Sorry. I'm just off kilter now.
That's all right.
At Sahara, at the pool, with Smash Mouth. Pair of tickets. Could be yours. Got to pick them up here at the studio today by 4 o'clock. All you got to do is be caller number.
School caller number 4.
702-365-9200. Final sit down is next, but not before you have a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Smash Mouth at Sahara's Pool. 4th of July this weekend. Courtesy The Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920.
We'll take your comments and questions on X. Follow us at RNR920 AM. Let's dig in to the Morning Tailgate on Raider Nation Radio 920.
It's the final sit down here on the Morning Tailgate, Raider Nation Radio 920. Big thanks to Jason Horowitz for joining us here on a Thursday, as well as Raider Nation having some fun with us on the Mount Davis, John Madden Park with the Rushmore, so to speak. A couple news and notes before we get to the couple text lines. Where did it go? Oh, on your Mount Rushmore earlier this week, in terms of number 1 overall picks, Vinny, Alex Ovechkin coming back for one more season with the Washington Capitals. That was announced just a few minutes ago. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about. All right, well, we'll get to... Oh, unbelievable. Look at this. This is Brian, Connor, on the text line. Brian on the text line says, I'm sorry, what's the word of the day? Thanks. Brian. Vinny, Connor does not like it when we have to repeat the word of the day. I'm not 100% sure why, but...
I don't mind it, but we make a big deal out of it. So it's like, I know you're listening. I know they're listening to this show because we get good calls, we get good text back, so I know we have active listeners, but it just seems the one time when you really want something is when your attention seems to fade.
All right. The word of the day for the Summer of Fun trip is country. Country. Text it in to 702-365-9200. One more reminder, programming notes. We are off. All shows here on Raider Nation Radio 920 are off on Friday, which is tomorrow, as well as Monday. So Raider Nation Radio 920 and Raider Nation Radio will be back in action next week on Tuesday following the 4th. A couple more texts to run through if we can. The answer to our quandary from Hot Sauce Raider. May I suggest you have a separate mountain of Mount Rushmore for offense, defense, special teams, front office, and for super fans. He wants a Mount Rushmore for super fans. Okay. Have a great weekend, nation. Be safe. Go Raiders. I mean, what's funny is Raider Nation could hold a Mount Rushmore of superfans because they, in some semblances, are iconic as well. Keith says, gentlemen, Upshaw, Stabler, Haynes, Seawood, my bonus, is changing the name from Mount Rushmore to Mount Davis. Beautiful. We're on the same wavelength there. Connor, we're getting a lot more Charles Woodsons than you previously thought.
Yeah,
because he was your honorable mention, right?
He was. I thought a lot more fans would be a little salty that he had to leave Oakland at the time to go get his championship in Green Bay and then come back. But to be fair, showed loyalty. He did come back, tried his hardest, and he's been a leader, one of the greatest players that they ever seen in the secondary. So, I'm again happy to see his name pop up, but it was surprising to see it come up more often than I thought it would.
So that's Seawood.
He's beloved. He is beloved for returning, and when. And there were a lot of people around him would tell you him leaving for Green Bay was one of the was great for him. He kind of grew up a little bit, when he went to Green Bay and matured, all of those things, and returned better off for it in Oakland, and is just as beloved a Raider that I have come across amongst the fans.
Well said. Mount Rushmore. This is Alex. Mount Rushmore of plays. Just plays for Raider lore. Holy Roller, Goes to the Post, Sea of Hands, Allen Super Bowl U-turn. Tough to top that. But I like it. Gage says Stabler. Howie, Otto Brown, and of course Sebastian Janikowski. He is one bad MF.
I've been thinking about it, to be fair. If there was a kicker that had to make a Mount Rushmore, is it not Janikowski? What kickers are you ranking higher?
In the history of the NFL?
Just for the sake of what they've done as a franchise kicker.
Vinatieri.
I mean,
maybe Vinatieri. That was where I stopped.
Yeah. When you're talking about that, you have to talk about epic important kicks, because he definitely made his mark. But to say Mount Rushmore, that's
if we were talking just of kickers that had to make it, I would think again, Adam Vinatieri, Janikowski.
Seabass?
I don't know how many other guys fit in up there.
That's a tough one.
That would be a homework assignment.
Yeah, that's an Adam Hill homework assignment. Can we pass that? Can we pass that off to Adam Hill?
Yes. Well, it also tells you that, there's a reason why we don't always talk about kickers as far as the Mount Rushmores of professional football. It's just, and it's not to say that they're insignificant. They're very significant, but there's so many other plays in the you know what I'm saying? Like their impact isn't as
pronounced
to me. Yeah, pronounced as somebody that's doing it on a down-to-down basis.
Smoky Mountain Raiders says Oakland 1.0, Otto, Upshaw, Stabler, Willie Brown, L.A., Allen, Long, Hayes, Hendricks, Oakland 2.0, Gannon, Tim Brown, Woodson, Janikowski, Vegas, Max, to be continued. Also, if you don't have A's on Mount Rushmore of baseball, you don't understand the history of the game. Near top in playoffs, division, series, and Hall of Fame, as well as stars. That is Smoky Mountain Raider.
Yeah, we didn't do one just for baseball.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But again, I like the way he did that. Oakland 1.0, LA, Oakland 2.0, and Vegas.
Justin Tucker would be. He was pretty good there. Won a Super Bowl. All-time field goal percentage. Has never missed an extra point. This was.
That's a good stat.
This was as of that might have changed because this was.
Oh no!
What year this story was written? It was by Gil Brandt, the great Gil Brandt.
All right.
Look back. So.
Well, thanks for playing, Raider Nation. We appreciate you. We love you.
Enjoy your 4th.
Enjoy the 4th. For Vinny Bonsignor, for Connor, I'm Vince Sapienza. Stay with the flagship for the Silver and Black. JT the Brick from 12 to 2. Once again, We are off on Friday, off on Monday, back on Tuesday. I will be taking a couple weeks, so I will see and talk to you here in a couple weeks. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day and a safe 4th.